Even if Skilly wasn't the party off screen.
Oh, Rain.
It's Rain.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Saying that.
Say that
I just wanted
shit.
to throw a spanner in the works. So.
No one probably has a wet setup.
I do.
No.
Actually, Matt would.
Heavy race head.
Oh my
no,
god.
Just quality.
Just quality. Just quality. Just quality.
Wet.
Shit.
Shit.
Yeah, now Inters is still quicker.
Wait, Inter's already quicker.
This is quicker. What is this stupid game?
Yeah, Inters is just pretty good.
Quicker.
Everyone get out quick.
Tommy, shut the fuck up.
What up, guys and girls? Another brand new video coming at you today. We are back for another round of the Race Spec F1 Esports Pacific Series Tier 1 on the PS4. We're here for round number 11 here at the German Grand Prix. A very wet Hockenheim ring, to say the least. 54 points is the gap between Zach, Crichton and X Revolution. You can check out where your favourite drivers are. Mercedes have a fair advantage over Ferrari, and Racing Point are not too far behind. Williams is still fourth somehow. We're still P12, I think, from memory of the last race. Obviously, our first points for quite a while. I think since Spain was probably the previous best, but now obviously getting finally back on the point screen, well, it was good to say the least. But yeah, we're back here for Germany, and like I said, it is wet. And if you heard the intro to the starts, you could probably maybe blame Curving Texas for saying rain at the start in the party chat there. So hence why we're under wet weather conditions. But the race is going to be dry, so that's probably a positive to say the least. Now, going into this one, not ideal. I think I was trying to remember a setup basically from Xbox that I used around here. I mean, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't really. So as we get a little bit sideways coming out of turn 3 and 4. But I don't think the wet weather is going to be going anywhere soon here, but you can see we're on the intermediate compound of tyres at the car at the moment. That was plebs. He had a moment where he was what was it? Oh, he was I think from memory he's leaving the garage, and obviously it gives you the option of you're on the wrong tyre. You obviously switch to the recommended tyre, or you ignore it completely. I think he said switch back to the wets, and he obviously put him on the wet. I think he put him back on the wet tyres, but then Jeff came back on the radio and told him, I think you probably would have heard then, that's Inter's on a quicker tyre. So I think he's going to have to come back in and get this bit on the intermediate tyres here as Zach now goes to provisional pole. We jump into 7th place, but we're behind or in between two wet runners at the moment with Jay Schmidt there and X Revolution with what was the first lap there? Well, first lap obviously was invalidated. Lap 2 was a 25.110. So yeah, basically we're just doing laps basically around here. It's pretty simple in these sort of wet weather conditions as well. So we're closing up to the back here of a Haas that is F1 Hawk. I think it is. Yes, it is. As Aaron has left the session, I'm not exactly sure why, but F1 Hawk just moves out of the way and Aaron joins back. So not entirely sure, might be in a connection issue or something. I'm not entirely sure here, but you see we're already green on our first 2 sectors here as now Spilly goes back to the top. I think he was there or thereabouts near the top of the qualifier of the session as he's obviously now gone back to the top. We've dropped now to a P8, but now this lap didn't feel too bad. We had a little bit of a moment coming around the final corner there, but we jumped into P3 there just behind Zach and ahead of our teammate Toddy. And with a 1 minute 24.0, so it was certainly an improvement.
Showing a clear patch on its way. There's about 10 more minutes of this rain. Inters and Wets will probably have similar pace at the moment.
Yeah, that helps very much, Jeff. I've got to say, as we were just moving out of the way of F1 Hawk, and I think he made an error down to the hairpin as Toddy now goes back to the top. Provisional pole, but that was the cool down lap you saw then. I wasn't trying to give F1 Hawk a bit of a toe there, but I think I might have actually, as you saw 40s now back to the top here. But we're going for another flyer around here. Like I said, just literally just trying to waste time here. Somehow went purple through the first sector, I should say. I think I've heard somewhere, like I've probably mentioned in previous videos, that it's probably glitches again. We go purple again in the middle sector, but we're still, I think, a little bit way off 40's time at the moment. As someone's getting very wide there. That's Billy just getting out of the road there. F1 Hawk himself. So making sure he's not in anybody's road there. Nice job. It's as we make our way through the final couple of quarters here. Was actually pretty excited with the purple sector times there, but like I said, I think it's a glitch. It's not actually maybe the fastest purple sectors anyway, but we jump back up into P5 there. I think we've gone to a 20, what are we up to now? We're 23.1, I think from memory. Yeah, it might be.
What's pole time?
21.
Yeah, I think it was 23.1. It might be, yeah, I think I'm right. Anyway, but I hopefully got my notes right anyway. But we come back into the pit lane and literally just as Toddy, I think, was just leaving the lane as well. So literally could not pick perfect timing, although the crew wasn't actually that quick compared to, I think, last time out at, what was it, a couple of rounds ago back at France. So intermediate tyres are still the way to go. We've got 5 minutes left in the session here, so literally just going to have a bit of fuel on board because you want quite a bit of fuel, obviously, in wet weather conditions. And we're going to go out for another set of fresh inters to see whether we can improve, whether the conditions would improve at all. If you're wondering as well, I am in a party chat with a few people. Obviously, in this party chat, we had obviously my teammate, Toddy. We had both the Renault boys, Plebs and Curving Texas. We had Zach Crichton was there. We had 40 was in there as well. Lazy Towel was here as well. I'm just trying to think who else was in the party chat as well. I've forgotten people. I sincerely apologise. I think Aaron was in the party chat, but I'm not sure. That's lovely. Some nice words there from a Toddy. I just thought, you know what, it may as well give him a little bit of a help there with the toe. It may have helped him with his lap time. I don't actually know in the end, but you see we've dropped all the way back to P18 here. So you can see the times are literally dropping away, but don't think well, it's not going to be clear up enough for dry weather. If we had a longer qualifying session, it probably would have been ready for dries, but this stage, it's just not quite there enough anyway for the dries. But anyway, this is staying on board here for my fastest lap. Well, actually, it probably showed the next couple of laps or something or other. I can't actually remember here. But anyway, well, this is actually my fastest lap. Anyway, so sector 1, we went green with it's 0.366 seconds quicker than the previous best. Now into the hairpin we go, just taking it nice and cautiously through here. I think Toddy was trying to get me the toe back there. I'm not actually sure whether it worked out or not, but anyway, it was also tricky to get out of the hairpin because you obviously want to try and get the drive out of there, but you don't want to get too much wheel spin as well. So that was something I was really struggling with, especially in the wet weather conditions. Took a little bit of time to get going again anyway, but here we go through into sector 2 now. We've somehow gone purple again. I still don't know how we went purple, but we're half a second quicker than our previous best lap time here at the moment, so fingers crossed we should jump a few positions.
The track will be drying out quite soon. Mind you don't burn out your tyres.
Yeah, I'd be doubtful, Jeff. It's 2 minutes to go. I'd be really doubtful. Like I said, if it was a longer qualifying session, yeah, I'd probably tend to agree with you. But here we go. Across the line we go. We only jump into P11, which is, I mean, it's not too bad, to say the least. But, I mean, everybody will have their free choice of tyres, that's for sure here. We were actually on a cool-down lap there. You're probably thinking that Aaron impeded me there, but no, I was actually on a cool-down lap there. So, I mean, Aaron had nothing to do with that whatsoever. So, but I want to show you this final lap as well because I felt like, obviously, I could improve my lap time here. Would obviously drop back to P14 now. But we were obviously 0.8 of a second now. Instead of 22.538, obviously, my fastest lap. But I was hoping this last lap was going to improve things. But, well, I mean, at the current moment, it's not too bad. Only about a bit over a tenth off my current fastest lap at the current moment here. I mean, it'd be good to get a top 10, but I mean, it wouldn't be too bad if we were outside the 10. But again, it's to do with, obviously, as we get a lot of wheel spin coming out of the hairpin there. That probably cost me quite a bit of time there. Like I said, it was difficult to get trying to get out of the hairpin there. But here we go through the Mercedes grandstand. There's another car in front of us here. I think it's, don't know, a Racing Point or is it a Renault? Don't know. Kind of work it out here. It probably shifted down a little bit too much there, going through the turn 11 and into the Sachs curb. No, it's a Haas, actually. It's F1 Hawk again. Somehow we've been stuck together in this whole qualifying session through here. But I think second sector, we were down literally only just. You could just literally tell we're just right on the bubble. I could sense this lap time was just going to be improvement, but we just fall short in the end. And we're not going to be inside the top 10 here for qualifying. I was probably a little bit disappointed not to get inside there, but anyway. Spilly does hang on for pole position with a 21.290 there. Zach behind him, and then 40 and Aaron. My teammate Toddy ended up P8. We finished up in P15. So, I mean, we're going to have a long road ahead of us here. Pretty much nearly like what we did last time at Great Britain. Anyway, which, by the way, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. But anyway, well, as Lazy Tail's the last one on the grid there. But here we are on the grid for the start of the Grand Prix. So I had everything ready to go here. We'll get into the strategy in a bit later because you'll understand why in a second here. Because usually when you see this screen, as you could probably tell in the background, the lobby's glitched. But there is a little bit of a, somewhat of a little bit of a fix. Apparently, I think I've heard somewhere if you press the PlayStation button or probably doesn't matter whatever console you're on, usually you can literally go straight away. But fortunately for other guys, I don't think they're big fans of that, if I'm honest. But there you go. There's we collided to the back. I think of Romeo Alonso there. Somehow the game gives us a 5-second time penalty, which I don't know how that's happened here. But basically what was simple as saying is we had to have a restart here, and there's a bit of banter going on in the party chat.
Claire Williams is hot.
No. Coffee.
Why? Bro, is she like 40 or something?
She definitely freaking though. Toddy, for real though, you know.
Oh, for real.
Rough game.
You definitely know when they were talking about fucking.
Be a freak in the sheet.
When they talk about George Russell. Russell.
Russell.
I'm trying to eat, boys. Give me a break. When she's talking about George Russell, fucking Toto should be clapping them cheeks.
George definitely be clapping them cheeks, boys.
It would have been good if you got it out the first time, but
he would have. Russell.
But now you've made a meme of yourself.
Bacon Deluxe is too good, man.
Anyway, what can you say? There's a lot of weird stuff that goes on in the party chat. Anyway, but strategy-wise, if you're wondering, we're going to go on the hard compounder tires, or start on the hard compounder tires and go onto the medium tires, which is pretty much the opposite for what majority of the guys would do anyway if they're inside the top 10. But of course, it's a mixed-up grid. Like a few guys will probably still stick on the mediums and then go into hards. Obviously, it includes, you can probably see on the graphic there, I think Curving Texas and Breno, I think are also on the medium compounder tyres there. But yeah, a few interesting things there. And quite that as well, George Russell is a certain driver. So it's not George Russell, it's George Russell. And hopefully I don't offend anybody that has a lisp, put it that way. I hope they don't offend, and hopefully nobody was offended by what was said in the party chat. Apologies if it was, but it was a bit funny, you could say the least anyway. But anyway, let's focus on the race now, shall we? We're going to, obviously, starting from P15. We've got a long way ahead of us here. Hopefully we can get in the points, like pretty much what we did last time out at Great Britain here. So here we go. We're all set for round 11 here at the German Grand Prix. 5 red lights. And let's do it around the Hockenheim ring. And it's a decent start off the line. The Curving Tex has actually got a pretty decent start there. I can't actually tell behind there's, I think, a bit of wings gone flying there. We've also got my teammate's point of view in the top right of your screen. Still getting very cautiously through here. Can't actually see what's going on. I think there's a few cars wide there. Of course, it's being interfered there by Toddy's point of view there. There's, I think F1 Hawk's lagging a little bit, and so am I. Someone's got into the grass there. And literally, I think things are going to heat up here, because look at this. I have no idea what on earth is going on here. Up the inside we go. I have to take the title line here, make sure that we don't collide into anybody. I think the two Haas's may have come into contact with each other there, but somehow get the better drive off the corner there and get ahead of Crossy. So we're literally back up into where we started here as we getting close to the back there of Breno in the Haas, and you can tell F1 Hawk is red Xing quite a little bit here. Have a look on board with Toddy's point of view. Hopefully I'll put this in the right, in the right place. But Zach and 40 having a battle there, coming through to Zach's curve there, and Zach does get the move, so he moves himself up into second place and 40 back into third place. But we're pretty much started where we started, basically, in P15. We're just hopefully trying to get past Breno as quickly as you can. Like I said, there is a mixture of who's on what on the mediums or the hard compounded tyres as we pick up our first track limits warning there. So that's also going to be a key for this race as well. Track limits will be a big thing, and you see I'm red Xing quite a bit for a few guys. That's probably to do with my internet. Living in a very regional area, my internet quality is probably not the best. Like majority of these guys would probably be on the NBN anyway, so they probably have much more success, much more better connection than me. But you're just going to let Banana Cake Pie made the move, even with the red X up the inside, and I think Crossy's going to make the move as well. Yeah, I don't think I put up much of a fight there because I didn't want to affect these guys. Let's be honest. Obviously, I've probably done it in the past where connection issues have probably affected a few guys behind, so I don't really want to do that. So we're now back into position 17 now as Lazy Tail's behind. Crossy's also one of the ones that's starting on the hard compounded tyres as well, so we've got somebody else as we have a nice little slide coming through turn one there. I still don't know how the hell I saved it. There's literally, if you make a mistake coming through turn one, the wall is going to be awaiting you. It's now trying to see here, Crossy's going to put a bit of pressure on F1 Hawk. As there was a bit of a contact, might have been a bit of contact there, I'm not entirely sure here, but I had to be cautious here because I wanted to get past F1 Hawk, but also not tangle with Crossy, obviously, as we go up the inside there. And I think F1 Hawk's actually gone straight ahead there, so yeah, I don't believe, there wasn't any contact on my screen anyway. Well, I didn't feel or hear any contact, so I've just got to assume F1 Hawk's just gone wide there on his own. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but I think he's back into the lane now. As we set a purple sector 1 there. Again, I don't know how done it, as F1 Hawks now retired from the Grand Prix. So again, I have no idea what on earth happened there, but just keeping the pressure here on Crossy. As there's also a bit of a battle, a bit of a train up a bit further up. So obviously, hopefully we can catch up to these guys as quickly as we can. We set our personal best on that lap as well as we run wide and we pick up our first penalty of the race. I think I picked up another warning somewhere along the line, but I didn't include it obviously because I only focus sometimes on the penalties. But obviously trying to keep the pressure here on Crossy. I don't believe he'll have DRS either. No, he won't. So we might put him under a little bit of pressure here. He goes down the middle of the road here. It's green flags. Oh, it's actually because of F1 Hawk's car. I thought he actually retired from the... Yeah, well, I thought he said he retired in the pit lane, so and I thought his ghost car would probably park it up somewhere. But thankfully, in this league especially, the ghosting is on here, so you probably see that there's F1 Hawk's car, so and he's actually off the racing line anyway. So thankfully that wasn't the case. Compared to in the other league, obviously, if it happens in another league, obviously. It's a different story. Again, it's going to be through turn 1, getting a bit of sideways action there. I think in the last corner and the first corner as well here. So then again, just lap 6 I think we are up to, as we're again just trying to go around the outside here. Again, probably not going to work here. I was trying to do maybe the over and under on Crossy, but didn't quite have enough here. Lazy Tail's just watching brief there, just seeing what's going on in front of us here. It's hopefully we don't lose the train as quickly as we can here. But Crossy, again, is not in the DRS. And I don't think he was overly thrilled about that one, but we're just going to zoom up the inside here. Hopefully clean move up the inside here. Take the nice cautious line through here. Just give him a little bit of a squeeze. No, not too bad. Oh, a little bit of squeeze that I say is he's run up our gearbox there. But we do get the move back, and we're up into, I think, 15th place. I think it might have missed, someone may have come into the pit lane. I can't actually remember. It might have been a Toro Rosso Mercedes, because there's a few at the back there anyway. But anyway, let's go back to the start on board with Plevs. Not the greatest of starts from him. I think he's also one of the ones on the hard compounded tyres, so that might be why he struggled to get off the line here. Obviously, if you're on the much harder compounded tyres, it's hard. As I think Aaron, Romy Alonso, I think Revolution may have been in there as well as, oh God, both the Alfa Romeos having a little bit of a contretemps there. But Pure Gold managed, I think, to get the move done on Romy somehow. Pure Gold, I think, is reserve in this league. I could be wrong, but up the inside he goes, manages to hang on. I think he get the move done. Yes, he does. So as there's a lot of kerfuffle going on in the background there as well. On board we go with BK. I think he may have got caught up in a little bit of carnage as he has a bit of contact there with XJ Schmidt coming into turn one. Probably didn't realise about the braking points there. It's obviously a little bit difficult as well because you're not trying to get damage on at lap one anyway. Schmidt goes very wide as may have been a lag incident there with Toei Zedru, the NZ, I believe. I'm not entirely sure as players is watching brief here as both I think Pure Gold may have got by Aaron here, but I think they might be still battling away here as I think it's Revolution on his left hand side here. Obviously a different compounded tyres. He's on the mediums, his Revolution. So I think Plevs to make it pretty easy here. I think Pure Gold and Aaron are still battling away, and Romeo Alonso's again watching brief to seeing what happens with those guys. But if anything, battling was going on in front here with the leaders. Back we're on board with Toddy here on lap 3. So I think Zach's made the move. He may have gone in deep there at the hairpin. That might give Spilly the motivation to get the move back. I think he may have. It's a bit hard to tell here in the with my previous screen here, but he's going to send it up the inside here, side by side through the Mercedes grandstand. That's never easy to do. If anything, 40 may take full advantage of what's going on in front here as they go through turn 11. And Toddy's having a bit of a fun time here because if these three tangle with each other, hopefully that doesn't happen. But could be Toddy could be in a very good, decent position here with some decent poise. As now, I think 40's going to have a look here on Zach up the inside into turn 2. They're going to go side by side through here into turns 3 and 4. A little bit of a push wide there, maybe. It may have been fair. Of course, both of those guys were in the party chat, so they probably know. But I think 40 should have the move up the inside here. And he does, or it might have been a bit of ghosting as well. And he does get the move done just over Zach. So he's put himself up into second place for the time being. But might not be done yet as I think Zach went in just a little bit deep there. And turn 3, that might put him off there a little bit there as now Toddy's hopefully keeping an eye on, obviously trying to catch up to Zach, I should say. But there's going to be a change for the lead, I think. Even before the yellow flags, I think 40's going to take the move. Yes, he does. So he's in the effective race lead now ahead of Spilly. I think he's done it as well before the yellow flag, obviously for the ghost car of F1 Hawk. It's lap 5 here. This is going to be a switch here, I think, between the Renaults. Yes, there is. So obviously, again, two different tyre strategies. Curving Texas on the mediums, Plevs on the hards. Just playing the long game here as Plevs, I think. So as back we go to the front here. This is lap 8. Zach up the inside of Spilly, and he does get the move done. So 40's just started to pull away here, and then obviously pole sitter has dropped back into third position here. As I think there's a little bit of a battle going on just in front of us here while all this is going on. I think it's Banana and the remaining Haas of Breno. I think Banana didn't quite get the job done in the end as we run very, very wide coming out of the final corner there. And through turn 1 we go. That's definitely a quarter cut there. It's our second time penalty of the race, so that's definitely not going to play. That's definitely going to play a factor later on in this race, especially as we run very, very deep coming through the Mercedes grandstand here on lap 10. And obviously, Crossy's still hanging on to the back end of us here, so he hasn't let go of us. As we come aboard, now start lap 11 here. As Revolution, I think, is coming to the pit lane, which I found to be a bit of a surprise coming in that early in the race, but who knows, it may work, it may not. But anyway, this is wait and see later on in the race, hopefully. Is both the Renaults again getting close to each other here on lap 11. So this is obviously, they passed each other on lap 5, and I think they're going to do it again on lap 11 as Plebs goes up the inside here. Now I think this is the time when the medium tyres usually tend to die off, or start dying off, I should say, a little bit here. So I think he's just got to be very, very cautious through there, as there's still a lot of battling going on here. We're just trying to catch up to this train in front here, and obviously trying to keep Crossy behind, which we're doing so for the time being, as there's I think 40's come into the lane for his pit stop, so I think he will. So obviously race leader, he's obviously now back behind Crossy now, as we just go deep as we dare into turn 1. And I think this is going to be interesting coming up here, lap 14. So I think Crossy might have a look here on the inside at the Mercedes grandstand. Brake as deep as I dared to just make sure he couldn't quite get the move done, but he could take a good run out of here into turn 11 if he up the inside. No, not quite there. So just literally just playing the patient game here, is now my teammate, I think, come into the lane, plus the rest of the top guys. Well, the ones that are battling for the lead of the race. There might be a few others that dive in here as well. Again, we're going long here. They're making sure these tyres get to probably lap 20 or more. We'll jump up. I think we're just going to manage to get ahead of Zach, obviously, who's now pitted, plus the other guys. And I think 40's just managed to hang on to the race, or the effective race lead, once everybody else pits. As there's Toey Z, Rudy NZ battling away with Red Bull, I think. Not sure if it's Banana Cake or not, but we don't have the DRS obviously on this back straight here, and I think Crossy does. Yeah, I think it is Banana. He's having a look around the outside of somebody. He's Crossy up the inside there. Didn't actually realise he was up the inside here. Now we're going to be side by side through here. And this is very awkward as well, because this is the effective race lead battle here. Lock up through there. This is awkward stuff. I decided to just back out of it, let these guys go through. So we obviously left 40, Zach, and Revolution. Obviously, we have lost a spot to Crossy. We're just hopefully going to stick in behind these guys here, and hopefully we can catch back up to Crossy here. Now, obviously, this is the replay of the pit stop. So it's Zach, Spilly, and Toddy. Now, if you remember back to last time at Great Britain, the Williams pit crew did a marvellous job in getting ahead of Romy Alonso. And hopefully they could do it again, to this time in the form of Spilly. Let's see what happens here. Hards on, away he goes. And would you believe it, the Williams gang have done it again. They've managed to get the jump on Spilly. So great job from the Williams guys. May have been a little bit of a glitch there with the game, obviously, because it's always a bit weird when you get released into the path of a car when it's ghosted, especially when it's ghosted as well. And so we can pick up another track limits warning as well. And so obviously we're now got our teammate behind us as well. As you can see, he's got his point of view as well. I didn't want to hold up Toddy as much as I think Zach had a little bit of a moment coming off the exit there. He might be under attack here from Revolution. I'm just going to let Toddy go here. And hopefully we'll try and keep Spilly behind for maybe a bit longer here, but didn't quite work out here. I went side by side with him coming out of the hairpin there, but not quite in the end. There's also let Pure Gold as well, because he's also part of this leading battle group as well. So we're back down into 13th place, but again, still going very, very long here, and a few other guys I think are still yet to pit as well. There might be a few other hard compound tyre runners as well. There's a few more in the lane. Right on cue as P11 we go. So that was definitely a track limits warning there. But basically just trying to keep up with these guys in front here. Look at this battle group here. This is going to be heating up very, very shortly as we get very sideways coming out of exit of turn 2 and turn 3, which is very surprising now. I have no idea why that was happening. I mean, I was on the hard compounded tyres, thought they could go very long in the race. Meanwhile, back we go to, well, the front guys. These are the guys that haven't pitted yet. So Plebs and XJ Schmidt having a little bit of contact there. Maybe a bit cheeky, but he's managed to get away with it. Schmidt back up into, well, the PT for the time being. Of course, those guys are also still yet to pit as well. But back we go with my teammate Toddy, who's watching Revolution trying to get past Crossy, and I think Toddy will want to make get past him as well. Maybe he might take Revolution as well, as Revolution actually ghosted through Crossy there. I think he mentioned it in the party chat as well. So that was pretty lucky that nothing else happened there. But as Toddy tries to go right around the outside, no can do. Trying to do the over and under, I think, out of this corner here. If he can manage to do it, you know what? It might actually have a chance here in the turn 11. He sends up the inside. Revolution does give room. He runs wide. This is the difference between the tyre compounds. The Spilly has a little bit of a look up the inside, but not quite no can do there. But obviously, Revolution's on, well, came in at the end of lap 10, 11, I think it was, and Toddy and these guys a couple of laps later. So, I mean, Revolution wanted track position. He sort of got it, but now be under attack by a little bit of fresh rubber. The much fresher rubber guys. There goes Toddy up the inside. I think he was hoping that Revolution would keep Spilly behind, but I think Spilly eventually got through there in the end there as we run very, very wide. Pick up another 3-second time penalty in this race. So that's really exciting to say the least. As I think Schmitty's now in the lane. And also Aaron, as we get a little bit sideways coming out of turn 1 there. And it didn't take long for these guys to catch up as well. And again, my internet issues really affecting it so much. So I just basically decided to just trying to get out of the way as quickly as possible. And I think we managed to do it pretty cleanly there, albeit maybe not so looking at red Xing. Those guys looking at a red Xing me. But anyway, we're going to dive it into the pit lane here. So I think this is probably about the right time we want to go onto the medium compounded tyres here. So we obviously dropped a couple of spots in the end as well. I think also looked like a Renault team is out in the lane, so it might be Plebs has come in. But here we go. Get those hards off, get onto the mediums, away we go. Now, I think we're going to come out in relatively fresh air here, but probably not ideal, but considering we lost quite a bit of time actually with all the stuff we're getting caught up with the leaders and whatnot, so that probably didn't help things. So anyway, Plebs also hards to mediums, away he goes. Now, it'll be interesting to see where he slots back in here, because he'll have much fresher rubber. And so there goes Schmitty coming out of the pit lane. I think he's just going to fall in behind his teammate. Yes, he does. So that's not too bad. Plebs might get some decent points here. We haven't had a safety car either, which is very rare so far around Germany. But I don't think it's going to take Plebs too long here to get past his teammate. And yeah, it's pretty simple, really. Up the inside there, and he's already made it before the hairpin, so he's up into P11. Next up will be Schmitty there in P10, be a final points paying position there. So hopefully you can get clear of him, get my words right in a minute, as we can't a lap later. I think he's going to make the move here. Yes, he will. Up the inside, and again, he's already made that before the hairpin there, so now up into P10. Next up, Romy Alonso's a little bit further up the road, but on the hard compounded tyres. So interesting to see what happens through there. But back we go to us. To be honest, not really much happened after this, as we set a purple first sector time. Again, still don't know how we did it, but as Plebs now sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. No surprise with the much quicker medium tyres as we run very wide there coming through the final couple of corners through there and get a track limits warning, which I felt was a bit harsh there. But I think we're on track to set a personal best of the race, but obviously didn't eventuate in the end there, as I think that's Lazy Tail that's in the pit lane. He's on to a set of the soft compounded tyres. Probably maybe a little bit too early to get onto the softs, but he might duck back in and get onto another set of softs later in the race. Who knows? Obviously, it was wet weather conditions in qualifying, so he's got plenty of sets up his sleeve. But here's Toddy now under attack here from X-Revolution. Up the inside he goes into the hairpin, makes it stick. Now these, obviously, you remember back to Great Britain, or even maybe a couple of rounds beforehand, these two have had their fair share of battles, and fair to say, Toddy's had his fair share of words to say about Spilly's driving, but they've kept it clean so far.
Marking out, Billy.
Fucking, that's a bit spooky.
So there's a yellow flag. I think it's Banana that's had a moment through turn 1. And Would not be surprised he has front wing damage. We pick up another time penalty in the race, obviously. Like I said, track limits at turn 1. You can easily cut the corner there, and yeah, you pretty much, your race could be done literally there. As Toddy goes very defensive on Spilly there, making sure he keeps him behind as best he can. Revolution is just trying to pull away. The top 2 in this race, Zach and 40, I think have had their fair share of battles as well, but they've pulled away from those groups. We set our personal best of the race, like a 14.8 or something or other, I think it was originally. But we've got Tao behind here as he's up the inside. Just decided to let him go here. Obviously did not want to have any issues with the internet connection, especially.
I'm having to defend from this fuckwit.
That's Toddy again with some nice words about Spilly. But anyway, that was sarcasm, by the way. Back we go to the Plebs. He's still got Jay Schmidt all over the rear of him here. And also slightly but surely catching up to Romeo Alonso, the hairpin. Might try and get the drive out of here if he can. No, he can't actually. If anything, Jay Schmidt might have the better drive out of here. Oh, side by side through here. They managed to do it. This is a bit awkward for Plebs because he's trying to get the move past Romeo Alonso, but also trying to hold off Schmitty there. I think he's managed to hang on for the time being. So great battling all around by those guys. As Romy goes very sideways coming out of turn 2, so that should give Plebs the motivation here. And I think, you know what, he's going to have the move done easily before the corner. Was trying to get past Schmitty. I think Schmitty had to go the long way around on Romeo Alonso. I don't think it's worked out in the end to try and get past Plebs, but he's up into 8th now, is Plebs. I think Romeo Alonso's just outside the 10 as well, but anyway, lap 27 now. You see Toddy's now putting pressure again on Revolution. This is the battle for the podium. Spilly's dropped off just a tiny bit, but he's still there or thereabouts here. I think Zach is now getting a bit of a lead away on 40 here, so might have the better, much better pace on the hard compounded tyres, better 40. But anyway, as here we go again, lap 20, back a bit further back now. Plebs and Schmitty, they've had their battles already. Had a little bit of a contact as well, but Schmitty goes right around the outside and gets the move done. A little bit of contact there. Maybe just saying hello, I'm here somewhere. Anyway, back we go to us, point of view. Again, literally nothing much happened here. We didn't really gain too much here. We're on P6, 16 here, so considering how late it is in the Grand Prix, I thought, you know what, may as well get onto the soft compounded tyres to try and get the fastest lap of the races. I think Spilly is now trying to get the move done on X Revolution. I think he's now got it. So it may have held him up for a lap or two. I'm not entirely sure there, but I think Toddy had enough time to maybe pull a bit of a gap there as into the pit lane. And funnily enough, Lazy Tail's also in the pit lane as well. So this might be a battle for who gets the fastest lap of the race. Obviously, you obviously well know if you've watched the Great Britain video, he did steal it away from me at the British Grand Prix. We get held up a little bit, obviously, with Tao coming out of the pit lane, but we should have some relatively fresh air. We still managed to keep out in front of the leaders as well for the time being. But now it's just basically just try and go flat out here. Didn't work out. Obviously, we'll get on to another set of softs and try and go for the fast lap of the Grand Prix. But now putting pressure, trying to put pressure here on Tao's. Dr. Dre now sits fast lap of the race. I think he was another one that was trying for the fastest lap, but he'll go around the outside of Tao there and up into position 15 in this race. Just been literally pretty boring, you could say. Well, to start with, it might have been entertaining, but yeah, this back end is not really entertaining at the moment. Here is lap 30. Here comes Spilly up the outside. Look at the straight line speed on that racing point. Pretty easy there. If anything, might have a lowish setup, I don't know, with Spilly, but it's a pretty decent straight line speed there. But we'll stick a board here for a lap here to begin lap 29 for my fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Now literally fling it into turn 1 there. You sure you obviously don't either cut the corner coming into the corner or coming out of the corner. Now through turn 2. Nice, easily work your way through the gears coming out of turn 4 there. Run it wide, go green in sector 1 by about, not by much, 5/100ths of a second. And is holding it in 7th gear through here as well. You can use 8th if you wanted to, but obviously might have something to do, I think, with the braking capacity going into the hairpin, where we managed to get through. Tao was keeping the pressure on as well. So this is the battle for position as well. Obviously, I'm not sure of his penalty situation at this stage. Now fling it through 8, 9, and 10. Run it out. Don't run it out too wide. We'll actually get a bit of a update on where he's at. We go 8/10ths quicker on that lap. We run very wide.
On point 9, they have a time penalty of 15.0.
Okay, so we might be able to hold on to this position, because I think I've only got 3 penalties from memory in this race, and he's got obviously 5 penalties. Look at it as we go purple there in the final sector. We're set a 13.574, which was 1.1 seconds quicker. As I think we're just going to let Lazy Tail go through here. I was actually thinking he was going to try and set a fastest lap of the race here. So just literally just try to back off and maybe go again. But you'll see coming out of the hairpin here, I think he'll pull to the side here. Yes, he does. Just a little bit puzzled at the time there. But anyway, back we go to a bit of action here. As here we go again with these two, Plebs and Schmitty, going up into the hairpin, and just pretty much opposite effect I think will happen earlier on. Plebs up the inside, may a bit of a contact, may a bit of just a brake lock up there from Plebs, but he's back up in 8th place. I think Aaron's just pulled a bit of a gap there. So as we pick up another track limits warning there, as we take coming through turn 1, we pick up another time penalty. So that definitely won't help things, especially later in the race. Forget another one, probably be on equals terms with Lazy Tail. As we come out of the first sector there, we went purple in sector 1, but I decided to back out of the lap at the back end of it because of I was in that corner cut there as a Lazy Tail. I no idea what on earth happened there. Would have just done that on his own or what, I have no idea what occurred there. But yes, here we go again, Toddy and Spilly. Oh, hello. There's a little bit of contact, I think, from behind. Might have been Pure Gold in the Alfa Romeos. May have just given him a little bit of a wake-up call there. I think Pure Gold might have just outbraked himself going into the hairpin. It's easily doable around there. But basically, I was just trying to go on fast laps here, try to get it even better or even get the fast lap of the race, but didn't really work out in the end. I think Tao's actually retired from the Grand Prix, might have crashed out there between, where is that, turn 7, well, in between turn 7 to 10, put it that way, that section there anyway. But this is the last lap battle here for the podium positions. I think these guys potentially have penalties. As you'll be able to see here, that's actually me off to the left-hand side there, just pulling out of the road. There's Toddy, sends it up the inside. There's contact at the Mercedes grandstand. Now, no Spilly, he would probably be keeping it tight with the penalties. Well, having not too many penalties up his sleeve. Probably might have a warning or two, but usually keeps it pretty clean throughout. As here we go again for the final lap with these guys, Plebs and Schmitty. I think Aaron may have actually got by ahead of Revolution. Schmitty goes around the outside and gets the move done, but can Plebs fight back here out of the drive? No, not quite in the end, but there's still opportunities. Still a couple of opportunities through here as Schmitty goes defensive there. As obviously you can see there's my car off to the left-hand side there, so nothing much to do there. But Schmitty does hang on into P8 there and Plebs back into P9, but here's our sad story day, unfortunately. So yeah, it's literally just not been ideal, really. And obviously we did lose a couple of spots as well during that. I think we lost spots to BK, I'm trying to think who else was there. Dr. Dre, I think was another one, and obviously Banana. So in the end, yeah, it's going to be position 18. I think Zach's won the Grand Prix on track, so we'll get confirmation of that a little bit later on once we come to the race results here. But yeah, literally a bit furious after this race. It's going to come home at P18. Thought we were on for maybe some points, but wasn't the case in the end there. Anyway, so there you go. There's your confirmation of the podium. So Zach does win the Grand Prix ahead of 40 there in the Ferrari. And Toddy actually hangs on for for P3 there. So they might have actually, most of these guys may have kept it clean. It's a rarity, trust me, around Germany, because otherwise some people may, well, some people will get penalties, but somehow some people don't. I don't know how you don't get penalties around here. It's probably just the good driving that these guys have anyway. But anyway, there's the final results. So Zach, 40, and Toddy. Actually, Zach and 40 did have penalties in the end. So Toddy in P3. Aaron jumps up to 4. Spilly back down to P5 in the end. Pure Gold, Plevs, Revolution there in 8th. Romy Alonso 9th. And Crossy somehow managed to get into the 10. You got Jay Schmidt there at P11. Curving Texas at 12th. Toe EZ Rudy NZ. I'll try and get that gaming tag right. Breno, BK, Dr. Dre Banana, myself, and then you got the DNFs of both Lazy Towel and F1 Hawk. That's your full 20-car grid around the German Grand Prix. So championship-wise, it's now 71 points between Zach Crichton and now my teammate, I think, jumped up into position 2. If anything, the big loser out of that was Revolution. I think he's dropped from 2nd to 5th there. In the end, the Spilly there at P6, Plebs in P7. There's the constructors. Mercedes have a not quite 20-point lead, 19-point gap over Ferrari. Racing Point is there or thereabouts. Williams is still in P4 there. Red Bull, then you got McLaren, Renault, Alfa Romeo, Toro Rosso, and Haas with their one solitary point. There's the overall standings of who finished where throughout the whole season so far. We're still somehow at P12. I still don't know how we're still somehow P12, but yeah, we may be dropping away a little bit there because probably I was going to probably make an announcement about this, but this is actually going to be my last race for the time being in Race Spec F1 Esports. The reasoning is there is another league that is about to start very, very shortly. And no, it is not related to F1, so don't think I'm just ditching Race Spec F1 Esports to just go and do another F1 league. That'd be stupid, but anyway, there is a new league coming on Xbox that is literally on the same night as Race Spec. If you're wondering as well, it's on Forza Motorsport 7. So you be sure to keep an eye on that one. But I must say, if this turns out to be my last race for this season, I've just got to say a massive, massive shout out to everybody at Race Spec F1 Esports, especially Plevs and I think all of his crew that did all the running for this. It's not just the Pacific Series as well. They got the Euro Series and America Series. Plus, they've also got a Global and Elite Series on Sunday nights as well. So if you want to go check it out, I'll leave the links as always down below to their social channels. But yeah, massive, massive shout out to those guys. This has been a lot of fun, and getting to meet up with the PS4 gang as well has been a lot of fun, I've got to say. Hopefully, maybe I might be back for maybe one race, potentially. I'm not entirely sure yet, but yeah, anyway, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to give it a big smash on that like button. As always, you can leave your comments down below. Subscribe to my channel for plenty more Race Spec F1 Esports in the future, obviously. Plus plenty more video gaming content as well. As always, all my social media links will be down in the description. Like I said, Race Spec links will be down in the description as well. The YouTube channel, I'll leave the links down there below. But yeah, until the next time when we do Race Spec F1 Esports content on my channel, it is goodbye, and I'll see you all next time.